So the reason I say that is because I recently saw the film from 1963, La Jetée by Chris Marker. And the 99.9% of the film is a slideshow, essentially, of photographic stills. And there's a narrator and takes you through the story, and there's subtitles. And it is a story. It's a work of art. It's film. It's cinema, I guess. You could call it a movie, whatever you want. But it works. There's a story, there's a structure, but it's delivered in a completely unique way. So if you're old enough to remember the 90s, and some of you are, indie filmmaking and shorts felt like a much bigger thing. It was much more prevalent. That was kind of the way that you would try to break into the business, or you would just get your voice out there, because it was, who's going to be able to just walk off the streets, even with a film degree, and make these feature-length films? They're not going to give you the budget to make a film, so you just make it on your own. And this film kind of feels like that. Like you could make this on your own. There was a time in Toronto where I went to this, I think it's called the Power Plant Gallery or something like that, on the river there, on the lake. And they had like a video artwork, and it was a very similar thing. It had like a slideshow of pictures, but it would just refer back to these certain images. They almost looked like photos of paintings, like Renaissance paintings, and it would have like titles at the bottom, subtitles, and it would tell the story through these pictures, with the characters being represented by these pictures, and it would tell the story. And it was so good. And I remember thinking, wow, this is really good. It's maybe 10 minutes. I don't know when that was made. I think it was more contemporary. But my point is that I watched La Jetée on Criterion, and then I saw that artwork in Toronto in a gallery. Those are very niche spaces for people to watch these things. Is it possible, and this is the other question I had, is it possible that one of the reasons people might react negatively to something like this, to being exposed to something like this, is because they haven't been exposed to it? I mean, if you show it to enough people, wouldn't there be an audience for it? Well, we just don't know that because it doesn't get tried. There's no experimentation in the process. I mean, I get movie theaters and production companies, they've got to make money, right? So they don't want to take chances on things or market things. But I personally have never understood why you couldn't do both. Like, you just sort of have the bigger films sort of compensate for what the more experimental films didn't do at the box office or couldn't do. But it seems like there's got to be a way forward. I mean, we can't just keep doing what we're doing and that's it. How do we invite new forms and new directors and new ideas and fresh experimental thoughts and concepts into the mix? Because then we're just going to keep seeing the same thing. I mean, like, how long do we have to go before somebody breaks through? And I wonder if there's a chance that we're at the beginning of some sort of a revolution in terms of the film experience and that form and all that, because it feels a little dull, and it's felt that way for a while. And in the grand scheme of things, 10 years to an individual seems like a long time, but in the form of culture or earth or whatever, like, it's a blip. So you have a couple of years in the late 80s and early 90s before grunge takes hold. But there's a lull there where it's not 80s, the synth thing is dying, it's the hair bands are going away, nobody cares, and then something new hits. Are we in that moment, or are we still a long time away?